Ryan Adams here from naturalweightlossmastery.com and ryanadamscoaching.com. And in 2015, I went from being a Pop-Tart addicted, Ben & Jerry's loving, wannabe gym bro who had built some muscle but sadly put on a lot of fat with it and was around 40 pounds overweight, to a health-conscious vegan, which, let me tell you, I promise you, I certainly didn't see that one coming. And then losing, with that decision, with that switch, 25 pounds in the 3 months that followed. This mirrors everything I'm about to share with you in this video. This mirrors my own 25-pound weight loss breakthrough back in 2015. Not only that, I would say, not to blow my own trumpet, that I'm the most qualified person to speak on this subject on the planet, because I've now helped over 220 vegans and plant-based dieters lose at least 20 pounds in 12 weeks on my Vegan Slim and Sustain program. Those are my credentials and why I feel I'm qualified to help you with this. And I'm going to walk you through the 6 steps that I view as being essential to your breakthrough. Let's go. Step number 1, you're going to require a moderate calorie deficit. What do I mean in particular by moderate there? Well, something in the 200 to 300 calorie range. So 200 or 300 calories from your maintenance calories, subtracting that from your maintenance calories. I think that's a really gentle place to start, a really gentle deficit. Many of my fellow coaches, teachers, peers, on YouTube certainly, advise that sort of very generic at this stage rule of thumb of taking 500 calories off your diet and going 500 calories into a deficit from maintenance calories. I can't stress enough how unnecessary I feel that is as a starting point, how aggressive for many of you that will be, especially women out there. I think that's far too many calories. I think it's highly inappropriate. And starting with 200 to 300, you'll get perfectly decent weight loss results with that. It will not be by any means slow. With a 200 and 300 calorie deficit, it will still be a decent steady pace in terms of preventing the likes of metabolic inefficiency that can come with really aggressive deficits, deprivation, so on and so forth, actually having energy to function, excuse my camera folks, but actually having energy to function and feel good every day while still losing weight at the same time. 200 or 300 calories off maintenance is all you need to get started with, I would argue. You also need a calorie deficit that moves as you lose weight. And this is a huge mistake I see. People will lose 20 pounds, they'll hit a plateau, and then they'll wonder why they're no longer losing. And they're thinking, well, hold on, I'm still doing all the same stuff. I'm eating the exact same meals as when I was losing weight before. What on earth's going on? Surely I should be losing weight since I'm doing this, following the same plan, the same strategy. Absolutely not. As you become a lighter entity, a lighter mass, you need less calories to maintain that weight, to keep that body moving, breathing, surviving, so on and so forth. Cognitive ability, so on and so forth. And so, yeah, your calorie requirements generally, there are exceptions to this, such as if your exercise dramatically increases, but generally your calorie requirements, will actually decrease as you become a lighter entity, as you lose weight. And so it's not only rather important to have a calorie deficit, it's also important to understand that that calorie deficit, or that calorie intake rather, it needs to move with your progress, and people don't realize this. So as weight loss slows down, one thing you might wish to try, or if you hit a plateau, try taking 50 calories or so off your daily diet. Just 50. You don't need to do anything radical. Some people, when they stop losing weight, they're like, right, I'll stop eating breakfast. No, goodness me, no, that's far too aggressive. Just try taking 50 calories off your daily diet, and you'll be amazed what small changes you need to make to your calorie intake to actually get weight loss moving again, or speed it up again in times of slowness. Number 2, in terms of the form of those calories then, how will they come? Of course, my advice is quite straightforward. Stick mostly to whole plant foods. That's what I've been preaching for years. I probably don't need to expand on that one too much. They have a low caloric density, so you can eat lots of them and still feel full whilst losing weight at the same time. They're incredibly fiber and nutrient rich, which, again, forget the weight loss is really brilliant for you anyway, just from a more wide sort of health, well-being, nourishment perspective. Also from a weight loss perspective, things like gut bacteria, things like your hormones, they're going to appreciate those calories, or that calorie deficit, coming predominantly from foods that are quote-unquote clean, nutrient-rich foods anyway. And as much as I've harped on about calories so far in this video, you know, hormones, metabolism, all of these things matter. you know, gut bacteria, all of these things matter from a weight loss perspective too. They all contribute. It isn't just true to say that it's a calories in, calories out equation. This isn't to say you can't occasionally have a vegan burger, occasionally have a glass of wine, occasionally eat out from time to time. You can still do those things like I do. I'm fully transparent about those things and still lose weight at the same time. And therefore this process doesn't feel totally sacrificial. Number 3 here is all about exercise. Progress from gentle, low intensity stuff right the way to more high intensity stuff in time. I stress there. You can tell by the tonality change and the volume of my voice. In time. If you've got 100 pounds to lose, don't start with those HIIT workouts. 1, there's a high risk of injury there. 2, risk of burnout. You're going to get demotivated because, not to sound patronizing, they are above your station right now. You've got plenty of time to master that stuff. You've got plenty of time to try all the different forms of exercise out there and find a sport that you really love that you could actually envisage doing for the rest of your life. And that's really exciting, but there's no rush to do that. There's no rush to do those workouts that burn like 500 or 600 calories when you're a beginner. So start with something gentle. Start with walking, yoga, Zumba, a little bit of gentle weight training, but nothing absurdly intense. Keep those things in reserve for as you hit plateaus and as your weight loss slows down and as you advance and as you get fitter, as there's less pressure on your joints because you're actually losing weight. And so a smaller risk of injury, so on and so forth. Track your progress. This is the next step. Track your progress. People are so inefficient and they'll lose months in plateaus where they're simply not losing weight and they are trying. I'm not talking about people that just let themselves go. I'm talking about people that try and they kid themselves thinking, oh, well, something will give here, something will break through. I'm all for patience. And I think it's a forgotten about trait or, well, it's not forgotten about. Everyone knows the value of patience. People aren't ignorant of why it's important to be patient in life, but it's definitely an under-practiced, let's say, trait. And so patience is really, really important. But if you're in a plateau for weeks and weeks at a time, you're just losing progress. And it's really, really important to actually have systems for monitoring and seeing where you're at so you can quickly identify, oh, my weight loss is slowing down here, or I'm hitting a plateau, and then actually do the subsequent troubleshooting, actually strategize, actually say, okay, what am I going to do for my calorie intake here? Is there anything unnecessary creeping into my diet here? Is there something I could really up my game with from an exercise perspective so I was burning more calories and making my metabolism more efficient more frequently and therefore break me through that plateau? You need to be in that troubleshooting mindset. And how can you do that if you're not actually tracking or measuring your progress? If you're only jumping on the scale every now and again, if it's just sort of hit and hope with regards to actually whether you're losing weight or not, if you're only looking at yourself in the mirror and therefore it's subject to all your subjectivities as a human being, right? You want to be weighing yourself. You want to be taking circumference measurements. You want to be doing tangible things that aren't eyesight judgment based to actually notice how your progress is going. It's like if you had a goal to make money, would you never check your bank account? Would you never check, the cash coming in and the cash going out? If your goal was to make money, you'd be on that stuff all the time, right? It'd be a no-brainer, right? How could you plan to make more money? How could you plan to be a better budgeter? How could you plan to save more money if you weren't actually looking at your finances every day or at least every couple of days? Exactly the same with weight loss. You say you want to lose weight, but you're not actually weighing yourself. How can you know what's going on here? People lose so much time. So it's absolutely imperative to track your progress, to see how you're doing. And then when things are going well, it's the best feeling in the world too. And it just gives you the certainty and the confidence that you might be missing right now to actually buy in and believe that this is truly possible for you to get rid of those 25 pounds or so. I want you to think about these 3 pillars. And these are the 3 pillars that my Vegan Slim and Sustain formula is based around. This is after helping 300 vegans and plant-based dieters get and stay slim. These 3 pillars have been absolutely essential to the development, of the systems, the philosophies behind my program. Number 1 is simplicity, because so many people are overcomplicating their nutrition, their exercise. They're trying to be really elaborate with their meals. They think they need loads of variety rather than just sticking to the same 5 or 6 meals every week, which makes it so straightforward. Repetition is absolutely fine. Just pick 5 or 6 meals and stick to those for now. Number 2, structure. People have very little structure in their lives. They don't have a plan. They have a wish, a desire, a dream to lose weight, but as soon as I ask them, okay, what are you going to do about it? It's kind of like, well, I was thinking of joining the gym, then I might do that spinning class on Wednesday. It's all ifs, it's all whens, it's all maybes, it's all buts, etc., etc. Get something down on paper. Get that grocery list written down. Have a clear meal plan. Those 5 or 6 meals I just spoke about, write them out. Stick it as a note on your fridge. I know this stuff seems a bit cheesy, a bit cliche, but just do whatever you can to actually have clear structure and rules for your behavior. And the third S here is sustainability. Think about what you can actually stick to. I think this probably doesn't need so much emphasis. You guys know my philosophy at this stage. You've heard me talk about it. We're likely very aligned on this. So again, I don't need to expand on it, but try and think about what you could actually realistically stick to here. It sounds so obvious, but it's really important to do things that you could actually imagine doing for a long time, as opposed to just short-term means to an end, like I'm just using this particular diet to lose weight, and then when I've lost weight, I'll throw away that diet. That's a really bad mentality. You need to think, could I actually stick to this? Could I actually envisage myself eating this way in 2 years' time? If not, make a change. There's a problem there. That's it. My 6 steps to losing your first 25 pounds on a plant-based diet. I hope you found this useful. These are the essential steps to get started. Hopefully lots of attitude, mentality-based stuff like we finished with there, but also lots of actionable stuff that you can start implementing right now, the moment you switch off this video, I hope. Don't continue to kick the can down the road. Don't wait for January 1st to do it. Let's get going with this stuff today. So those are the essential steps to get started, I feel. But if you do want help putting this all together, you can learn more about my vegan, slim and sustained coaching program by clicking the link below or visiting ryanadamscoaching.com. See you soon.